Good morning, everyone. We've got education advocates today, and we'll just go ahead and get ourselves started. We're about 1 minute beforehand. If you'll see on the agenda, of course, it's about ESSER. And Wendy, I can see that you're at the Capitol today, a beautiful building behind you. Then we're going to be doing legislative implementation. We've got Christy is going to be sharing that with us. We've got the education savings account. We're going to talk about public charter schools, where they're at. We've got the MAST update, which is so exciting. We are working through Summer Institute at Bozeman. So like I said yesterday at a legislative committee, MSU campus has been invaded by so many teacher leaders as well as school teams across our state with great professional development. And then we're going to be talking about the budget and education working group. Looking forward to the decennial study and seeing the impacts of inflation and everything upon our schools. And also looking then as ESSER leaves September 30th. And we want to make sure that our schools have resources that's all available. So with that, Wendy, let's just go ahead and talk about where we are with ESSER funds.
Thank you, Superintendent. So Brian is sharing some screenshots of flyers that we are handing out up here at the Capitol. So we have lots of information that we're sharing as we're getting to the closing end of ESSER. And again, it's that September deadline that we're looking at. And right now we still have about 34% of our funding that schools can go ahead and spend as they see fit. We have, as new superintendents come on board, new trustees come on board, they are of course making new decisions that impact their schools. So that's a really good thing. We're working hard to process all of those amendments. Remembering that ESSER in its full entirety is an amendable grant, and that's a very significant thing in the world of grants because many grants aren't. So that spending there is still available for districts to make choices based on their needs right now. We do have, as you scroll down the page, you can see a little bit of the uses of the funds. And I know these are slides you've seen before, but just recapping how the funds are being spent. They're spent on technology, they're spent on instructional time in the classroom, but also there are some construction projects that are going on, and those are listed down below as well. We have on the next page a more breakout of summer activities. So I do want to highlight this because we are working very strongly with our schools and also the nonprofits in the area to be able to help with summer and targeted math and literacy programming. So that's something that if any of you have any school districts or you have any nonprofits that you work with who have programming that they've always wished they could do during the summer, there is still funding that's available. And we're there completely to help them fill out the application and get it started and actually use it this summer. So just wanted to highlight a couple that are in there that have done some activity. We have some play groups that have done things in terms of the Playhouse. You know, drama, of course, is all about reading. And some very creative math, gardening projects talking about math and building projects talking about math. So that hands-on component. And I know, Angela, you're working a lot with the CTE platform and the junior colleges in our state. Those partnerships can be built into that grant basis. So there is still $25,000. Could be a little bit more if they're bigger projects and the scopes are bigger, but I was just up at Flathead Community College and met with a couple of the staff up there talking about those. So encourage anyone who's interested, give a call and we'll be glad to help you with those applications. Just across the state view, you can see where the concentration is of those. We do call them ELO grants. It's extended learning opportunity grants. So encourage again people to reach out on that. Any questions?
Thank you, Wendy. If everyone will notice, we put a lot of emphasis on math. And it was interesting in the very beginning with our community partners in both the after school as well as with the summer learning to really focus on the educational opportunities of math and reading, but really proud that our partners went ahead and took the challenge for that extended learning. So any questions for Wendy? We are up at the Capitol for today and tomorrow as well. We've got a table just as you come into the first floor so that if anyone has any questions on any of these dollars as they remain in Montana and what they're being used for an investment for education. Right. Wendy, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Christy, we're next and you are in Bozeman. You must have got yourself a room and a cup of coffee, huh?
Definitely an early start to the morning this morning. But yes, I'm here in a quiet room at the conference. It was a great kickoff with Joe Bowler doing the keynote this morning. So just a great, wonderful start to the day. A lot of educators here excited to learn and engage with one another, and with just a lot of wonderful sessions and learning today. So it's a great opportunity here. So for our legislative updates for this month, we will circle back with our education savings account. And we are excited to say we had 45 applicants, so 45 families applied for the program. Out of those, about 22 are actually eligible or qualified for the program for this upcoming year. Those families are being notified right now, and they will be getting their contracts shortly. And I wanted to just sort of let schools know that some important information that you need to know about this is that we will be informing you, the OPI will inform you of participating students prior to your base aid payments. You'll be remitting that ESA amount back to the OPI once you start getting the base aid payments in the fall. So after that first August payment. And we will get you the names of this first round of the students in August. You'll have that at the 1st of August this year. For schools, we just wanted you to be aware of what that was looking like for you and what you can expect from the OPI as far as that communication. In addition, for the ones that that are eligible, you'll be getting just a notice of potentially like, hey, these are some counties that these schools may reside in. We've got several families participating from Gallatin and Yellowstone County are some of the big counties that we have represented here. And just for you to know, you'll be receiving that information from us so that you're aware and planning for that. So if you have questions about that, please reach out to myself or Whitney Williams, our ESA specialist. We also have a parent steering committee that meets monthly. They're at a little bit of a break for the summer, but they'll be back meeting again on August the 10th. And in addition, we've just had the public hearing for the administrative rules. That notice is also available on our website, so you can take a look at what those draft rules for the education savings account look like. So we've had a lot of busy updates to the education savings account. So again, if you have questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer those. Our next legislative update is our public charter schools. They are ready to open. July the 1st is the open date. So we have 17 ready to go. 2 will be waiting until next year to open. They've all been approved by the Board of Public Education in that application process. The next round of applications will be are open and actually available now. So if you go to our homepage at opi.mt.gov, hit the red button, Public Charter Schools, you'll find a link right to the application process there. Those applications will be due November 1st to the Board of Public Ed. And I know they're looking for innovative programs. A lot of schools are really talking about innovation and flexibilities, and these public charter schools are a way for schools to really think about that in a new and efficient way. And so that is also available, and some new news about the public charter schools. And with that, I would answer any questions if anyone on the call has any questions for me.
Thank you, Christy. Dr. Watson, I'm going to call you out. There was an interesting discussion yesterday, and I believe you may have been there. I don't know if you were there for the discussion of having the charter schools. They said something about programs and that having it move into the realm of transformational learning. Do you know much about that?
Yes, Superintendent Arntzen, I think the discussion was around funding for the future, knowing that we had, 17 schools apply this year, and the funding for that was a little bit unknown when that bill passed. And so one of the thoughts yesterday that was proposed by one of the legislators is perhaps that the charter schools would become our new transformational learning grant. Perhaps that's where the funds would come from.
Thank you for that clarification. So you heard what I heard as well. So I believe it's important for us to not wait, but to recognize, and I don't want fear going into schools that are currently under our transformational grant to think that that funding is going to be removed. So let's put some kind of a conversation together, possibly next week, and see what happens more after the policy committee gets together, as well as the budget committee, and they have further discussion on what their forward look might be. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page in trying to serve our schools as this transfer occurs, but more sustainability in that funding, I think will aid our school leaders as we open the doors this fall. That'll be great. Good. Any questions for Christy? Thank you, Christy. Appreciate it. Let's get into the MAST update. Crystal?
Thank you and good morning, Superintendent. Hoping that, my screen is up. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I am coming to you live from MSU. Just completed one of our MAST presentations already in the early bird session this morning at 7:15. So I'm not sure Christy found her quiet room. It's pretty busy around where I am, but I will move quickly. So the MAST update, we currently have our MAST team here at the Summer Institute providing several different sessions for Montana educators around MAST. We've already completed 2 MAST vision presentations around the need for change in statewide assessment to meet federal accountability. So those went over very well yesterday and today. We have our assessment unit here providing some KITE sandbox. So KITE is the platform in which the MAST assessment is administered on. So we have some demo accounts available for folks, STCs, to participate in roles, rostering, and the uses of the new platform. We have our teaching and learning team here, and they're providing sessions on standards and the curriculum alignment tool, which is unique to the math component of the MAST assessment. And then we have the latest and greatest score reports that will be coming out during each of the testlet administration windows, as well as the end of the year summative score. So sharing with folks what those look like, getting their feedback, and teaching how do you use score reports that come back throughout the year to drive instruction and support student learning. So a heavy MAST presence here in at the Summer Institute.
Yeah, just fine, basically.
Pam, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. All right. So moving into the 24-25 school year, these are the 3 test administration windows. Hearing from feedback in the last 2 years of the pilot, we have been able to use a very iterative process for adjusting to meet the needs of our stakeholders around the state. So next year for MAST, we will have these 3 administration windows, each of them 6 weeks long. They're really aligned to the vision and the model of MAST that provides school level flexibility for teachers to administer testlets aligned to when their students have mastered content. You will see here that we have the guidance is 3 to 5 math testlets per window to add up to a total of 12 math testlets throughout the year. And then ELA have less flexibility as far as the alignment of them. The standards are reassessed throughout the year. 2 math testlets are given in the first window, 2 math testlets in the second with a writing performance task, as we really want to communicate that we value the writing component in learning and education and being able to assess that. And then 2 end of year ELA math testlets to assess the English writing language component. We then have heard from our stakeholders that they would like those testlets to be as short and as skinny as possible. And so we have taken some item review in order to have a healthy test item bank out. And we'll be using a shorter window for students to have 1 testlet that will then assess components and create that healthy test item bank moving into future years of the testing windows. Here's just a blueprint sample of what that looks like for someone who might be a little more visual with pictures. Again, the 3 testing windows, the ELA, so the English Language Arts, 2 testlets in each of those windows with the performance task. And then the really unique component of the MAST is being able to take these 12 testlets that are aligned to math grade level content standard clusters. Schools will have the ability to adjust as to when they want to give those testlets throughout the 3 different windows. So very unique, innovative assessment model that Montana is leading the nation in, and a tremendous amount of work to get to this point. And we have had very positive feedback from our Montana stakeholders as we've shared the MAST vision and what it looks like here at the Summer Institute and all of our other listening sessions as well. One component that we are providing for our district leaders is this scheduler planning tool. So there's 2 ways to schedule those math testlets. Either districts can say this is a math curriculum that we're using, and it will align the standards into these 3 windows. Also, we know that some districts either use a curriculum and tweak it to align to how they feel it's best instructed, as well as some districts create their own curriculum for math. So regardless of where our districts are coming from in their scope and sequence of math standards, this tool is useful to help school leaders to determine what units are being taught, what standards are integrated within those units, and then how they align within the 12 math testlets within the 3 windows. So this tool has been provided to our districts, continue to provide it on our MAST and OPI websites, and then handing out paper copies here at the Summer Institute. But we've heard feedback from a lot of our stakeholders who participate in our sessions that they've already done this work at the end of this school year, and they are ready to be moving into next year with the MAST assessment. Already have that curriculum alignment tool completed, and they say that it's been great professional learning for schools and grade levels and PLCs to be able to do this work and really ensure that there is cohesiveness between what's being taught in our schools. So I think an additional positive to not only having an innovative assessment that assesses students close to the proximity of when they learned, but also a positive to have this work being done at a professional level. And I just want to close with our summer statewide support plan. So when that curriculum alignment tool, the actual inputting of those testlets will open in July, we will be offering office hours as well as one-on-one coaching sessions for districts that might need support on that. We have round 2 of the Mass Roadshow planned for August 8th through the 16th in 9 different cities around Montana. Boots on the ground, having people come in person to be able to provide the technical support, as we know that testing is no longer a one time throughout the year. It is throughout the year. And so we want to make sure that we provide the support and the technical help as needed to make sure that all districts are ready come that window opening in the middle of October. We will hold round 2 of our virtual Mass Summit on September 5th. So that will be very technical, offered to all virtually. And again, providing that level of support to ensure that all of our districts are ready to roll in October. We have platform and test technical trainings that will be offered both asynchronous as well as synchronous for folks to come together and collaborate, as well as if there's some districts that prefer to do that on their own time. And we've heard from feedback that both of those are valuable for the different learners and educators that we have in our state. And then finally, feedback sessions. So over the last 2 years of the pilot, we have provided feedback sessions, listening sessions after every administrative window. That will continue as we work through this iterative process to ensure that the MAST assessment meets the needs of our classroom teachers, students, and their families, and provide the support needed to roll out something that's very unique and new in the world of assessment. And with that, I'm available for any questions that might be out there.
Thank you, Crystal. One of the things, it's not, how do I want to say this? There are a little bit of bumps within the MAST rollout, and there were, and there is still going to continue to be. We just need to make sure that we listen very carefully. Anybody that's here that has any questions coming from a school district, a parent, even from a student, we would really like to understand and know, and hopefully we can really iron out any of these kinks that are there. I was really impressed at the Summer Institute when I was there yesterday. We had Lavina, and Lavina hadn't done MAST at all, any of the 2 years of the pilot. But their team was there, and that whole purpose of them was to come and to learn so that they could implement it for the best it can be. So recognizing our 401 school districts, some have a learning curve here and some have a learning curve up here. And I think if we can all learn together on this and using all of our partnerships across our state, it will be the best rollout that it can be. But kudos one more time. Montana is leading the nation. No other state is doing what Montana is doing to link learning closest to when it is being learned, how it is being taught, with the component of the teacher and the process of learning. So we're leading the way, and I'm sure we're going to have great opportunities to listen to see how we can make it better all the way. Crystal, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference. So now let's go to Katie. We've been doing this, Katie, what would you say? For maybe, at least 2 months now, we have put together a budget and education working group. So Katie, I'll give this to you.
Hi, yeah, so I'm just gonna give a quick update on the budget and education working group. So our first meeting was in April, our second round of meetings where we actually split into the 7 small groups, because overall there's 170 members. So we split into our small groups in May. A lot of the discussion was about some of the challenges people see in their community, identifying and how we want to address those issues and kind of putting that pen to paper. Our next round of meetings for small groups is actually next week. And just like a quick summary of kind of some of the topics that I saw across the board for all 7 groups was teacher recruitment and retention. We all know that's a hot topic. I don't think any of these things are a surprise, but also inflation pressures just across the board for cost of living, but also the inflation pressures in the cost for schools. A&B funding formula, and then special education was also a really big topic. So next week's meetings will be drilling down into more of some of the solutions that the members see, and then we'll kind of put a bow on that throughout the summer. And then just a quick refresh some of the members. It's across the board. So it's teachers, superintendents, taxpayers. So it's really everyone up and down. And so far the community discussion has been really great. But that's just a quick kind of overview of where we are, and we'll share the progress as we keep going along.
Thank you. Here we go. We're concluding. So I was speaking and of course my mute button. You'd think that we would have gotten this with all the time with Zoom. But anyway, blessings to you all. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to add to this?
Superintendent Arntzen, this is Steve White. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Good to hear your voice, Steve.
Thank you. I've got a quick question, and maybe there's somebody in the Zoom meeting that can answer it also. But I've been getting questions over the last number of months and actually years and I keep forgetting to bring it up, and it relates to the Digital Academy. And the question is related to whether homeschoolers can participate in that. And I've read the Title 20 statute on it, and the things that I'm hearing from homeschooling parents is that it's sort of each school district treats it a little differently or whatever. And I've looked at the statute, and the statute originally was just for public school students, but now it addresses part-time students. And I just didn't know what the answer is. And I thought maybe you could just, I mean, is it if a homeschool student or a private school student is taking part-time classes in the local school district, which they can now do, are they eligible for Digital Academy, or do they even have to do that? I know originally when it was first put into law that there was some effort to include homeschools and private schools into the Digital Academy environment and venue, and that was rejected by the legislature. And so now it just says part-time. So I'd just like some feedback if I could get that from you.
Thank you, Steve. Great question. Christy is our liaison at the OPI that serves on the board there at the Digital Academy. Christy, you could make a liaison. If you don't know the answer, we could surely find out.
Yes, definitely. And Steve, we can find out for sure. Traditionally, you're exactly right. It has run through the school districts for that opportunity. And so any student that is part-time enrolled would also then want to go through their school district for that enrollment. However, the Digital Academy in recent legislation has been building a clearinghouse. And I know some of the way that they're working towards that clearinghouse is potentially offering some more opportunities for students that aren't attached to a resident school district, for example, that those programs are still building right now. But yes, to answer your part-time enrollment student, those students would go to their district for that information as it sits right now. But they're growing, yeah.
Is there a document or anything that OPI has prepared that can give an overview of all of that I could pass on to people? If you don't, that's fine. I didn't know if you had a PDF file or something that could be emailed to me.
You know, Steve, I absolutely can get something to you, and I'm positive I have your email, so
Yep.
I will follow up with you on
Yeah,
that.
Brian's got, I'm in the loop, so if you could
Sounds
just
great.
do that, I would really appreciate it. That'd be
We
great.
can-
So,
Yep, I can definitely get something your way.
okay, thank you very much, Superintendent Christie.
Thank you, Steve. Yes. Anybody else have anything else to add for Steve's question regarding the Digital Academy? Okay, we'll go ahead and take care of that. Well, blessings to all of you. Thank you. All of the documents that we have today, and even the one that we get to Steve, will be transmitted out to our lists that we have. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.